Namastu. Which means I bow to the divinity in you. My name is Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Enius III, also known as Ka-Hun, Anku, Sarah. And as always, it is my pleasure to welcome you to another Sunday service here at the Holy Culture Church of the Black Messiah in historic Maine Town. Of course, we'd like to welcome those who are going to this morning visit us through Facebook. We encourage you to come down to historic Maine Town any Sunday at 9 a.m. for our weekly Sunday services, or any Tuesday at 6 p.m. for our scriptural studies, or Bible studies, as some people like to call it. But we don't only use the Bible. We go through the Quran, we go through the Bible, all of the scriptures that you may be holding or subscribing to at the time. We encourage you to come question us. For those of you who did make it to historic Maine Town, say Namastu again.
Namastu.
And today we are reflecting on Rastmass and the birth of the Nazarite. The birth of the Nazarite. For those of you who have a Bible, and I pray that you do have one, let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 2, because we got to ask some questions this morning, all right?
All right, yes.
You know, personally, my question to us as a people is, what in the hell
That's right.
are we doing?
What in the hell are we doing?
What in the hell are we doing? Because we keep continuously going through this cycle
Yes.
of remaining in hell.
Yes. Come on, teach.
This Hellenistic way of doing things. You understand? And if you don't understand, stay tuned, because we can help you understand.
I'm on.
Because when we look at what's going on right now with regard to Christmas, I'm smiling every day, because as I walk into stores, as I witness people preparing for Christmas, the question that I ask is, what in the hell does snow have to do with our salvation?
What in the hell?
Huh? What in the hell does snow have to do with our salvation? Huh? What in the hell does a wreath have to do with our salvation?
What in the hell?
What in the hell? Huh? What in the hell does chestnuts roasting on an open fire have to do with our salvation?
Where that come from?
I'm trying to figure out. You understand? We already talk about this Christmas tree. We know what in the hell that have to do with everything, because that's a heathen practice.
Yes.
Jeremiah chapter 10, 1 through 5, for those who may have missed that. Huh? And this is what's keeping us in hell. You know what I mean? And so we got to question and try to understand, why are we repeating things over and over and over again? And if you ask most people, they don't know why they're doing it.
That's right.
Don't tell me Jesus is the reason for the season.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what in the hell.
Exactly.
I ain't talking about the real and living Messiah.
Come on now.
Because Jesus is not the real and living Messiah. We're going to touch on this Nazarite.
Yes.
You understand? And I see the games that they play now, because when they give us the new Jesus movies now, they all of a sudden they call him the Nazarite now.
Yeah, yes,
Wow.
yes.
They didn't call him the Nazarite when I was growing up. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't even. But now all of a sudden they call this white boy the Nazarite.
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Him and Samson standing next together.
Where?
Samson blue black. This way, look like he from Sweden. And all of a sudden we supposed to just align these two people and call them both Nazarites?
Yeah.
What in the hell?
What in the hell?
Huh?
Come on now.
Y'all say hell was a curse word. We saying Hellenism.
That's
If it was
right.
a curse word, stop following it.
Right?
If it was a curse word, stop living it.
Right?
Huh? Because all they've been giving us is hell.
Right?
Matthew chapter 2, starting at verse 1. It says, now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea. Stop.
Clarity.
Bethlehem of Judea. They want us to feel as if this Bethlehem is in the Middle East. And matter of fact, people every year spend thousands of dollars to go to the Holy Land.
Right?
Yep.
Now, no disrespect to the great Jewish people, but we know that the holes in the Holy Land are there from bullet holes.
Yes, sir.
Okay? I can drop it raw.
Come on now.
That's why that's the Holy Land. Okay? Because you all hijacked the original scriptures. So we don't know the true sacred land.
Yeah, that's right. Come on.
This word Bethlehem is the word house, bait, house, or Beth they would say, lehem of bread. Because this bread of life was made flesh in this sacred city, which in the African theology, where they stole this from, out of the book of Ma'atu, the African book of Ma'atu, where they stole this from. This city is Amirna.
Yes.
Okay? Sacred city that you can, they call it Armana on Google, if you want to look for it, right? And then they talk about Judea, but they don't explain that Judea is a Roman province. That this Judea has several cities that comprise or make this Judea up. Right? And we're going to go into the Strong's Concordance because we need to understand what is taking place. Why in the hell do we continue to stay in hell?
Right?
This is all we doing. All right? Ayudia is the word they say. And they say it is a narrow, they say the word Judea means he shall be praised. Okay? In a narrow sense, to the southern portion of Palestine lying on the side of Jordan and the Dead Sea, to distinguish it from Samaria, Galilee, Perea, and Udemia. But why are they calling Samaria and Galilee and Perea and Udemia? When you do the research, what you'll understand is that this was during Roman times, and this became one of the provinces of Rome. Okay? The people who give you help. Okay? Now when Jesus, we're going to talk about who the real and living Messiah, Yahshua Christ is. But they introduced us to Jesus. Okay? So we have a right to critique it. We have a right to question it.
That's right.
We didn't put it there. They put it there.
That's right.
We're going to get to Jesus. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod, the king. Who is this Herod? Who is this Herod? Let's build some context so we can understand this word. They say Herodas. It means heroic. Herod means heroic. The name of a royal family that flourished, they say, among the Jews. So you're in a Roman province. You're a king. Yes? And you're among the Jews. They say in the times of Christ and the apostles. Herod the Great was the son of Antipater. Antipater of Udemia. Edomite. Appointed king of Judea BC 40 by the Roman Senate at the suggestion of Anthony and with the consent of Octavian. He at length overcame the great opposition which the country made to him and took possession of the kingdom in BC 37 and after the battle of Actum. Where the book of Acts comes from. Another sermon. Okay? he was confirmed by Octavian, whose favor he ever enjoyed. So this goes on further talking about this Herod and him being put there by Octavian and Marcus Antony, who took over after who?
Caesar.
Which Caesar? Julius Caesar. So
Triumvirate.
let's understand what just happened just now. Because they introduce you to a story, and this story, if it is being given to us by the people who they say are living the story, then whose perspective should the story be coming from?
The people who give it.
So this should be Mary and Joseph and the people who we can learn about in this should be their perspective.
Yeah.
But this is clearly not their perspective. Because they start out by telling you there's a Jesus, that he was born. They tell you about a Bethlehem in Judea, which they say is a Roman province. And then they tell you about this Roman king called Herod.
Yes.
So whose perspective is this from? The Romans. Okay? Behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. So we're gonna pause there for a second, because we need to understand why these wise men were coming, and we need to figure out who these Jews that Herod was living amongst, who they are. Before we go into the Barashith, all right, I want to look up this word Jerusalem. Let's see if it's the same Jerusalem people spend all their money to go to. Okay? They say Jerusalem, they say set ye double peace. It denotes either the city itself or the inhabitants. It says the Jerusalem that now is, with its present religious institutions, that is the Mosaic system, so designated from its primary external location. Why you gotta put the Jerusalem that now is?
It was Jerusalem before.
Must be.
Yes.
Let's keep reading. I didn't write this. We didn't write this. Vassesh didn't write this. This is the Strong's Concordance. Then they say Jerusalem that is above, that is existing in heaven according to the pattern of which the earthly Jerusalem was supposed to be built. Then they say metaphorically the city of God founded by Christ, now wearing the form of the church, but after Christ's return to put on the form of the perfected messianic kingdom. And they say the heavenly Jerusalem, that is the heavenly abode of God, Christ, the angels, the saints of the Old and the New Testament periods, and those Christians that are alive at Christ's return. And they say the New Jerusalem, a splendid visible city to be let down from heaven after the renovation of the world, the future abode of the blessed. So you got all of these different references to Jerusalem. One. When we continue in the Thayer's Greek lexicon, and I'm not reading all of it because it's quite a bit to read, but we want to look and see, just for clarity's sake, what else the city is called. All right? And so let's see where we want to start. This word Jerusalem. All right? So it's talking about the city, the Jerusalem that is now with its present religious institutions. All right? Okay, cool. So they just reiterated what we just saw, right? Now, when you further go into researching this city, Jerusalem, all right? So we're going to come out of the Strongs, and we're going to just do a Google search, because we want to see who these people are, right? And Jerusalem is the capital of what?
Palestine.
To the Palestinians, and Israel to the Israelites, or those Israeli. All right? So, Jerusalem, I asked the question, Jerusalem is the capital of which city? Sister Shaniqua said, Palestine, which is correct. if you're from Palestine.
Right.
The Israeli are saying Jerusalem is the capital of Israel.
Right. As a new Jerusalem, and this is what they sing about in the song.
Well, this is what we're trying to. Got so many Jerusalems. You understand? And if we don't understand which Jerusalem or Jerusalem, the original, then we remain in hell.
Yes.
You understand? And so, this is just a quick Google search, Jerusalem. They talk about it being a city in the Middle East on a plateau in the Judean mountains between the Mediterranean and the Dead Sea. It is one of the oldest cities in the world and is considered holy to the three major Abrahamic religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. All three religions have this one holy city. Interesting, eh? Maybe all three religions used to be one.
Yes. Exactly.
Both Israel and Palestine Authority claim Jerusalem as their capital.
Wow.
As Israel maintains its primary governmental institutions there, and the state of Palestine ultimately foresees it as its seat of power. However, neither claim is widely recognized internationally.
So it's recognized internationally.
This whole argument of who, see, so the media will give you a perception of how things are supposed to be. But if you check to understand international, when they sit in the UN, this is an argument that they're having. They're looking at them like, well, the British set this up.
Right.
You understand? Throughout its history, Jerusalem has been destroyed at least twice, besieged 23 times, captured and recaptured 44 times, and attacked 52 times. The part of Jerusalem called the City of David shows first signs of settlement, they say, in the 4th millennium, in the shape of encampments of nomadic shepherds. Remember this word, shepherds.
Yeah.
In the Canaanite period, they say the 14th century, but we know better than that, Jerusalem was named as Jerusalem, they say. Jerusalem. From Chaldea.
Yeah.
On ancient Egyptian tablets.
Which tablets? Ancient Egyptian.
Probably meaning the city of Shalem, they say. After a Canaanite deity. They say Shalem. So when they say Shalom,
Shalom.
it's a Canaanite deity.
Wow.
Hmm?
Wow.
I'm saying this I'm going through all this for a reason. Right? During the Israelite period, significant construction activity in Jerusalem began in the 9th century, and then it goes on and goes on and goes on. You can Google all this, right? But the etymology now of the word. All right? They say from ancient Egyptian sources. How come when it's time to figure where something come from, you got to go to Egypt?
No.
I always saying that people that need to.
You don't want to go to Egypt, but the people who telling you don't go to Egypt is go to Egypt.
That's right, I'm on.
A city called Jerusalem in the execration text. So this is where a city, not that the city in the Middle East is the same city. Watch the game they play. All right? They say of the Middle Kingdom of Egypt, but not universally identified as Jerusalem. Jerusalem is called Jerusalem in the Amarna letters of Abdi Heba. So when you go into the Amarna letters, which letters? The Amarna letters, you mean the same city that is the actual Jerusalem, that is the actual birthplace of the real and living Messiah Yeshua Christ? These people who want to tell you about Jerusalem are taking you back to Amarna. They going into the Amarna. What you in the Amarna letters for?
Right.
Okay.
Huh? The name Jerusalem is variously etymologized, meaning foundation, Semitic, to found, to lay a cornerstone of God, Shalem. The god Shalem was thus the original, they say, tutelary deity of the Bronze Age. What Bronze Age? You talking about Hesiod's 5 days? How are we going from Amarna to Greece?
Culturally.
Huh? Just going through this to show what they've been doing. Right? So this word, they say in the Hebrew Bible and the Jewish sources, The form Jerusalem or Jerusalem, first appears in the Bible in the book of Joshua. According to the Midrash, the name is a combination of two names united by God. Europe, the abiding place, and Shalem. So they're saying the abiding place of peace, or the abiding place of God. It goes on further, and again, you can look this up, but I'm just doing this to spark your interest, so you can actually go and look up and see what these words mean. All right? And we go into just a brief history. They say, given the city's central position in both Jewish nationalism, called Zionism, and Palestinian nationalism, the selectivity required to summarize some 5,000 years of inhabited history is often influenced by ideological bias or background. By ideological bias or background. So nothing that these people are teaching you is based on your salvation or based on the scriptures. It's based on what? Ideological bias. That means you coming in with a bias. So if you from hell, guess where your bias from? Hell. Helena. Greece. Right? So, still in Matthew 2 and 1. So this Jerusalem, all right, was moved from Myrna, Jerusalem, into what today they call Jerusalem. And if you do further research, the name Jerusalem used to be Jebus. Jebus. So who is Jebus? Let's go now into the Bereshit, because we need to see who these Jews, they say Herod was among the Jews. So which Jews was Herod, who was a Roman, who was Herod amongst? Let's go to the Bereshit, which is the African book of Genesis, page 45, page 150, which is scroll 10, verses 78 to 86. When they say the word Jew, you are the three groups of 12 royal tribes of Ishmael, Israel, and Midiani, the real Iuta. They're not talking about you. They're not talking about us. So let's see what they're talking about. Scroll 10 of the Bereshit, starting at verse 76. This correlates with Genesis 10 and 15, for those who follow in the King James. All right? Ismi al-Rab al-Khaliqu al-Kareem, in the name of the Sustainer, who is the Creator, the Generous One. It says, verse 78, and then Labana, Canaan's second wife, Shingar. So this Canaan, okay, Canaan is one of the descendants from Noah, from Ham, because Noah had a Nuach, the African Noah. He had three sons. They say Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right? And then this Ham has a son called Canaan, and he's an albino. And then Canaan now is having children. So this is what this is giving the lineage of Canaan, one of the sons of Canaan. Then Labana, his name was Labana, which means milky white, because he was albino. Canaan's second wife, Shingara, did give birth to a third son called Jebus. Now this is the same name that they say that ancient Jerusalem was called. You don't believe me, look it up. Jebus, all right, which means a desolate hearted, or desolate heart. And his wife Salima. And they were the progenitors of the Jebusites, a melanin recessive people with black hair and dark brown eyes. And the Jebusites are a stock of Hurrians, or Hyksos, or pig shepherd kings. So when they're talking about shepherds, they're talking about the shepherd kings, the Hyksos, the first stock of Caucasus Asians, or Caucasus Asian known as Khazars or Caesars to learn the basics of life and knowledge concerning the three groups of 12 royal tribes. They came amongst us, they learned, and the little that they learned, and I can't even say they came amongst us, because they was learning from others who would come amongst us, right? And they took what little they learned from the Ptolemies, and they hijacked it. And we're not utilizing the little bit of intellect that we have left. And let's be clear, I'm not saying people are dumb. People are brilliant. We have brilliant people. But what has happened with regard to our intellect or the information that you need to learn in order for society to say you're smart, that information has been interfered with. Verse 81, and this knowledge which they learned was based off of a covenant which they shall eventually through the practice of identity theft, as we're talking about now. Right? Which they shall eventually, through the practice of identity theft, claim as their own, calling themselves Jebus or Jebush or Jewish. You understand? Something that's Jewish ain't Jew.
Wish.
You're a Jew, or you Jewish?
Wish.
You're on the fence.
No. A stock of Jebusite Jewish people of the latter day. The land of the Jebusites shall come to be called Khazaria, which shall border the Roman Empire, okay, where Europe's Christ shall originate. So when they're talking about this Jesus and what they created as Matthew, they ain't talking about the real and living Messiah.
No.
They talking about Europe's Christ that they created. It originated there. In Rome, Caesar's Messiah. And next to this Roman Empire is Khazaria, where 90% of the latter-day Jews, such as Ashkenazim and Armenian Jews, shall come from, and the Byzantine Empire, where the Ottoman Turkish Islam ruled by Persian Indo-Aryans and Pale Arab Emirates shall originate. So even Pale Islam is coming out of this area. Verse 83, and above them all to the north is Sweden, or southwest Eden. And you spell the word out. Of the Adamson of Europa. And this shall be the Jebusite land found at the gates of Europa, between and at the base of the Caucasus Mountains, between the Black and Caspian Sea. So my brothers and sisters, this whole story is not taking place or not originating with the original records. So everything that we are celebrating as a people